What's up, yo? This is Rinto represent Dynamic Rockers from the East Coast, New York. And today's video is me interviewing the Hip Hop Lessons Part 2. And Part 1 was the one that I posted last year. It was me interviewing the one and only Mr. Graham, Mr. Flash. And today's guest is Mr. Havoc from Mobb Deep. And I got into hip hop because of them, so I was so excited. That's it from me. I hope you guys enjoy it. Peace. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for coming today and doing the interview with me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're like my hero.
Thank
I got into hip hop because of you.
Thank you.
So I was so excited, and I want to introduce myself real quick. So my name is Rinto, and I live in New York. I moved here 6 years ago, and now I'm living in Queens.
Wow.
And I'm a breakdancer, represent Dynamic Rockers.
No doubt.
And I started this YouTube channel because I wanted to learn about like hip hop culture and like history, and also like I wanted to like share them to Japanese people.
Dope.
Yeah. We're gonna move on to the question.
Okay.
So first, I want to ask, when did you start listening to hip hop music?
When did I start listening to hip hop music?
Yeah.
I started listening to hip hop music like when I was real young. I would have to say the first time I could remember listening to hip hop music was when I was about 6 or 7, like 7 years old, something like that. And one of the first songs I remember was by Curtis Blow.
Your favorite rapper was around that time?
My favorite rappers around that time, I would have to say Run DMC.
Oh, Run DMC.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely Run DMC.
So, like, did Run DMC like kind of inspired you?
Definitely. I mean, you know, Run DMC definitely inspired me. They was from Queens, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they was like one of the biggest hip hop groups of all time. And to see them, how big they made it in being rappers and being black, it definitely inspired me.
So, I heard that you met Prodigy in high school of art. And what was like the first impression of Prodigy?
My first impression of Prodigy was he used to wear a lot of jewelry. Yeah, in high school.
Yeah.
So my first impression was like, yo, this guy must be rich. You know what I'm saying? That was my first impression of him. But as I got to know him, you know, he was really down to earth. A real cool guy.
Why did you guys started rapping?
Okay, so I met him, right? And we didn't immediately form Mobb Deep. Like, we became friends first.
Okay.
And I would say like maybe a year later after meeting him, we became a group and started rapping together.
But like, why you guys started rapping?
I mean, the reason why, because Prodigy already was a rapper. Like, he was already rapping, doing his own thing. And you know, I was rapping, doing my own thing. We both was doing it separately. But we got along so good, like as friends, we just said to ourselves, yo, you know, let's put it together and make a group. You know what I mean? Because we got along so well.
Did you, like, when you guys make a group, was the name of the group was different, right?
When we first started, when me and Prodigy first started, the first name that we had was called Poetical Prophets.
Why is it?
I mean, you know, back then a lot of the things was where hip hop was like conscious rap, like, you know what I mean? So we was like, you know, I had the idea of like, you know, trying to make a name that was more conscious, you know what I mean, of things that was going on at the time.
Okay. And how did you guys came up with the name Mobb Deep?
And so the way that we came up with the name Mobb Deep was, Mobb Deep is actually a saying that we used to say around the way. Like if we saw another group of you know, kids, like if it was a lot of them, we would be like, oh yo, those dudes was Mobb Deep. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like it was a mob of them and they was deep. So we used to say that a lot. So then when we was searching for a hip hop name, it was like Political Prophets. I don't think so. And then we was like, oh, Mobb Deep, because it's a whole bunch of us.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why we call ourselves Mobb Deep. Yep.
The next question. So back then there was no like YouTube or internet or something.
Right.
So right now, like younger rappers maybe like stream on Spotify or like YouTube to like show themselves. But back then, how you guys were like
how did we promote ourselves?
Yeah, promote.
You know, back then the internet is like fairly new now, right? Like, you know, maybe 20 years old or something like that. Back then when me and Prodigy didn't start, like you said, there wasn't no internet. So the way that we could promote ourselves was probably like through the radio, you know what I mean? Through magazines, through live performances, you know, go to clubs, you know, freestyle on the mic and things of that nature. So that was our only way we could stream our music, you know what I mean? By those ways.
It's like more, it's a lot easier.
Now
right?
Yeah, now is way easier, right? And then not only is it easier, but now you can make a song and you can send it to somebody in Japan.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or you can send it to somebody in Africa or somebody in Russia. Like, you know, before you would have to mail it. You know what I'm saying? In the mail. You know what I'm saying? But now is with the internet, it's instant. So, you know, it was a lot harder back in the days. It was way harder. But, you know, even though it was harder, we still became, you know what I'm saying, who we were.
Is there any case that it got lost in the mail and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. So many things got lost in the mail for sure.
Could you give me a reason that it could be leaked?
Yeah, that was a big problem. Like, if you mail something, somebody might steal it, you know what I mean? And the next thing you know, or they could bootleg it, you know what I mean? They could bootleg your music. So, you know, that was, you know, a risk back then. But, you know, today the same thing can happen. Today the same thing can happen.
Yeah, that's true. Wow. So my favorite song from Mobb Deep is Survival of the Fittest. And I saw that you didn't like the track when you make it, but is that true?
Well, it really was the Shook Ones track, right?
Oh, the Shook Ones.
Yeah, the Shook Ones track. It wasn't so much that I didn't like it, but, you know, a lot of times if you by yourself, right, and you're making music, and if there's nobody there to be like, yo, that's dope, that's hot, and you by yourself, you don't know. Like, it might be good to you, but you don't know if it's good to other people, if it sounds good to other people. So, you know, when I made it, I was just like, whatever, right, you know. And then Prodigy came, and a couple of the friends came. They said, yo, they like, what the fuck is that? You know? I'm like, yeah, you know, it's whatever. And then it Shook Ones, you know what I mean?
Now it's like one of the like.
I mean, you know, it's like one of the, you know, best hip hop beats of all time, right? You know.
Imagine if you like deleted.
I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about it, because if that was the case, if I would have made a mistake and erased Shook Ones, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. Right? Like, if somebody went back in time and erased Shook Ones, I'd probably disappear, right?
I mean, like you could like delete like track that you like didn't like, but if you didn't delete it, it might be like today.
Right, exactly. So, you know, the lesson of the story is don't ever delete.
Save everything.
Save everything. Save everything. Save everything.
And I want to talk about the lyrics. So, how long does it usually take to like write the lyrics?
You know, it depends, right? You know, it depends on the writer. Sometimes it can take 10 minutes. Sometimes it can take 10 hours. You know what I mean? It depends on the artist. You know what I mean? It depends on, you know, how much they feel in the beat. For me, you know, to write a verse, it probably take me about 40 minutes. You know what I mean? 40 minutes. Like, you know, if I really feel in the beat.
For a whole song?
Oh, for the whole song is different. So, whole song, you know, sometimes I could work a week on a song. You know what I mean? And sometimes I could work on a song and I just put it to the side and come back later. And you know what I mean? Or sometimes I could finish a song, you know, in a few hours. You know, it depends. It really depends.
How long did it take for the Survival of the Fittest?
Survival of the Fittest, I would say it probably took like a day.
A day?
Yeah, it probably took like a day to make the song. Because after I made the beat, we just started like writing to the beat and stuff like that, and we took it to the studio, you know, a few hours later, and then made the chorus. So I would say it took about like a day, you know, to make the song.
How was the like Queenbridge around the Infamous came out?
Man, Queenbridge was wild.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, a lot of drugs, a lot of crime, you know what I mean? But still a beautiful place, you know what I mean? Because, you know, you learn a lot of life lessons, you know, there. But it was one of those places that was definitely very, I would say, just to make it in simple terms, pretty dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I can't even imagine like how like dangerous it was.
Yeah, you know, a lot of our friends, they not here today, you know what I mean, because of the things that happened in Queenbridge, you know. So, you know, I'm always thankful that I made it out, you know.
Yeah. So like, how do you think your hood like affect your like style in rapping? Because I love your tracks, and I love like the lyrics and flows, but like I think those style affected by like their food or like their background.
Absolutely. You know, our neighborhood directly affected our style. You know what I mean? Because, you know, they have the saying, you are a product of your environment. You know what I mean? You know, growing up in Queensbridge and then being an artist, you're expressing the things that you see around you, or the things that you might go through, you know, or you might experience, you know. And so when you sit down to write, you're gonna, you know, write your experiences and everything that you feel, and so it affects your style hugely, like a lot. It affects your style, even with the beats, like, you know, making the beats. And, you know, when I'm making the beats, you know, I'm thinking of, you know, darkness and dark sounds, because, you know, the vibe in Queensbridge is, you know, sometimes it's really dark. So when you listen to the beat sounds, you know what I mean? It's
I can feel that.
You can feel it, you know what I mean? So yeah, it affects it usually. You know?
Okay. I mean, for me, I like hip hop because, so I don't have like a lot of close friends in school, but when I came to New York, I couldn't even speak English like a lot, but only like breakdancers or like people who I met through the hip hop culture only like talk to me, like be nice to me, like I think hip hop is one, I mean, like most important reason that why I'm still living in New York right now. Because if I wasn't a b-boy, I think I went back to Japan, because But how do you think hip hop saves your life?
Man, you got to think about it, right? Like hip hop, you know, saves lives in a way that it could keep people out of trouble, right? You know what I'm saying? It gives somebody something to do. It's positive. You know, it's like poetry. You know what I mean? It's art. You know, whenever somebody's into art, it gives you something to do, and it could keep you out of trouble, you know, from doing, you know, bad things, you know what I mean? Because, you know, art is a positive thing, you know, and it definitely, it gives you something to do, you know? So it definitely saves lives, you know, it definitely saved my life, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's what you know, hip hop, for real.
My favorite part about hip hop is the beef culture, because in like breakdance there's also beef too,
Right.
and like when someone beef me, I don't want to lose, so I practice a lot more.
Right.
And I think that occurs to rapping too. But like when someone beefs someone, like, you know, like I think that's how hip hop grow. And but for you, what is your like favorite part about hip hop?
Well, you talk about beef. You know, hip hop is competitive. You know what I mean? People, they always battling each other. That's the nature of hip hop. You know what I mean? And you know, it's supposed to be positive. You know what I mean? It's like they not boom 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 boom. They not shooting each other. They just battling. You know what I mean? Or they on the mic and they battling. You know what I mean? So it's a positive thing, and it always should stay like that. And that's my favorite part about hip hop is that, you know, if people have differences, they could battle on the mic and not kill each other. You know what I mean? So that's one of my favorite parts about hip hop.
Well, that's so true. Like that's how like hip hop started too.
Absolutely. Or for battling, not killing. Or for battling.
So you're like doing a producer for a movie or like for other artists, but like I think it's hard to become a producer of like movie or like anything else than hip hop. I mean, other like producers, they stay in hip hop.
Right.
But you like you produce like movies or like musicals.
Yeah.
So like why do you think you can do that?
I mean, the reason why I do that is because, you know, I love music, you know what I mean? And not just hip hop, you know what I mean? I love music, period, right? So I'm always looking to do more, you know, not just hip hop. If you do only hip hop, you know, you limit yourself, you know what I mean? I like to challenge myself, and I like to take my hip hop talent and I bring it over to another genre, like, you know, films, you know, movies, and you know, video games. And, you know, it's really just sharing your talent, you know what I'm saying, on other platforms.
Quick question, like, what do you think? There's a lot of talented artists or producer out there from your era as well, but they cannot really move the way you move. Like he asked, you moved to the movie scoring, musical, different genre, different field. What's the biggest distinct reason that you are asked to do that?
I think the reason why I'm asked to do that is because I put in a lot of work. You know, I put in a lot of work over the years. My work is consistent, you know, and I have a brand that people could trust, you know, a brand that people love, they like, they familiar with the brand, and so they want to use that brand, you know what I mean, they familiar with it. So, you know, a lot of other producers, though they might be good, sometimes they're not consistent, you know? So I guess I'm lucky.
I see. Lastly, can you give a message for next generation rappers or like hip hop heads?
A message that I'll give to the next generation of hip hop people is to stay original. You know what I mean? Try to be original. I mean, nothing is new under the sun, and we take things and we make it our own. But you know, just always try to come with something new and something different. you know. And lastly, I would say to anybody that's trying to make it in hip hop, you know, stay consistent and never give up. Never give up. Follow your dreams.
Alright, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, so amazing.